We're going to talk about 7 money lessons that you can learn from Oprah coming up.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to an all-new edition of the Sunday Night Sit Down with America's #1 money couple. I'm Talib.
And I'm Ty, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we're managing money, marriage, and everything in between.
So guys, we want to share with you some valuable money lessons that you can learn from Oprah Winfrey. We recently were informed about this great podcast that was created about her show called Making Oprah. It was an NPR podcast. And a friend of ours was like, you gotta check this out. It's awesome. You'll love it. And so we did. And guess what? It was awesome. And we did love it. So much so that we listened to it a second time. And as we were listening, we were gleaning these information. We were inspired by her story. I think it's so easy to look at Oprah Winfrey now, billionaire, got her own TV network, has done all these amazing things. And we can kind of take that for granted. I think when somebody's great for so long, you can kind of be oblivious to the story, to the steps that was taken and the path that was journeyed to get to that place. And so it was so refreshing to be able to use this podcast to go back to the very beginnings of her career up until the point that she is now, to learn all these valuable lessons from all the twists and turns that happened along the way.
That's right. And as you said, I think it's so easy to take for granted. You know, we see the outcome, but we don't see the process. We don't know everything that person has to go through in order to be great in that area. So we were able to pick up 7 money lessons that you can learn from Oprah, as well as we can learn from her too. So let's get started.
#1 lesson that you need to take away that you can get from Oprah Winfrey's story is ownership. That's right. It's so imperative that you get to the place in life to where you own things, that you're not just making payments on things, you're not just renting things. In Oprah's story, there was a piece of her early career where she was working for a particular station, but she got to the point to where she saved up her money and she bought the rights to her own television show. And not only that, she bought her own television studio, which was unheard of at the time. Not only for a woman, but for an African-American woman. It had never been done before, and she did it. And because she took the steps to become an owner, she had more flexibility and she had more creativity and she had more power to do things her way. And so for a lot of you all are faced with this payment and that payment and this bill and that bill, and you don't own, you owe. And so we want you to take note from this story of Oprah Winfrey to position yourself. Now, maybe you're not there yet, but you should be trying to position yourself, because she didn't start out as the owner. She started out as the employee, but she slowly and methodically positioned herself to be able to become the owner. And so for you, you need to continue to make those payments and make bigger ones and get out of debt and own your cars and own your homes and own investments, because that puts you in a position of power. So the second money lesson that you can get from Oprah is adjustments. Oh my goodness, there were so many twists and turns in her career in the direction of her show, and she was never afraid to make adjustments. Even at the height of the popularity of her show, she made a major pivot with firing the producer who was also her friend and replacing that producer with someone else, and that took the show into a more positive direction and gained more popularity. But this happened as she was at the height, when it didn't make sense to make a change. It didn't make sense to make any type of adjustment. But she knew where she wanted to be, and she knew she had to make adjustments to get there. And so for a lot of you all have been doing your money in a certain way for so long that you're fearful of making the necessary adjustments to get your finances into a better place. If you want to win with your finances and you're not winning currently, then it's going to be imperative that you adjust your behavior when it comes to your money. You're going to have to start to learn how to budget. You're going to have to start paying off your debt. You're going to have to start doing what's necessary and adjusting all the things that you do so that you can start winning with your money.
The third money lesson that you can take away from Oprah is to invest in yourself. That is something that she did. She invested a lot of money into building the proper team that carried her show to higher heights. She didn't mind spending money on her set, which was her studio. I mean, she was very, very innovative at that time with putting money in certain areas to build her show. She also invested in herself by making sure that she brought on quality people. There was a time in the beginning where she interviewed certain people, and there were certain different topics on her show that didn't really make her feel good. And she said, you know what, we are not going to do that ever again. The next time we bring somebody on this show, it's going to add value. So she made sure that anybody that she brought on the show not only added value to herself, but added value to the viewers out there. You have to also be the same way. We always tell you guys, invest in yourself when it comes in the area of money. In the beginning of our marriage, when things were a little bit rocky, we were trying to figure out the whole money situation, guys, we started to invest in knowledge. We would read, we would watch. As a matter of fact, we would watch Oprah, and she would have money shows on her show at that time, and we would watch and we would learn. So invest in yourself. Whatever it is, some of you guys may have to invest a little money in yourselves in order to make some extra money. Maybe there's side hustles money or another business venture. Invest in yourself. That's the most important thing that you can do.
The fourth lesson that you can learn is be okay with being unique. Early on in her career, when she was pitching, she was auditioning to even have this show, she had to send in a tape, an audition tape, and the producer liked it. And the producer called her and said, I love this show, this is for you, you're the one. And her response was, you do know that I'm a woman, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, you do know that I'm African American, right? He's like, yeah. You do know I'm overweight, right? And he was like, yeah, so what? Let's go, let's get it done. Think about this. Now, it's so easy to look at Oprah Winfrey today and say, yeah, man, she's amazing. Think about where she had to come from in the time. This is the 80s when this started, right? Not only is she from the South, she is a woman. She's an African-American woman. And her name is Oprah. Yeah, it's like second nature to say Oprah now, but throw out a name like Oprah back then and like, huh? But it was her uniqueness that made her who she is to this very day, to where her name, it's just like it just flies off her tongue. What's weird about Oprah? Oprah, right. Yeah, Oprah. Everybody knows Oprah. And what you have to do is also be willing to be unique. So everybody in your circle isn't going to understand the fact that you are working so hard to get your finances in order. They're not going to understand the fact that you don't think it's a good idea to always have a car note, to always have a student loan payment. Like, you really want to get out of debt, and that's going to make you unique, and it's going to make you stand out. And for some people, that becomes a little uncomfortable. But don't let it be uncomfortable for you. Embrace this uniqueness and take your family, take yourself to a place that nobody has been before, that you know, debt freedom. You lead the charge, and people will be coming looking for you for the answers, just like people are coming looking for Oprah for the answers now.
The fifth money lesson that you can learn from Oprah is to learn from your failures. Now, I referenced this a little bit earlier. In the beginning of Oprah's career, she had certain shows on her show that she didn't really feel great about. As a matter of fact, there was one particular episode that she mentioned where there was a gentleman on the show along with his wife and his mistress. And the mistress announced that she was expecting, that she was pregnant. And the wife heard that for the very first time. And Oprah mentioned that to see the pain and the hurt and the shock on his wife's face made her feel horrible. And she said that she will never allow anyone else to be able to use her platform and use her show in that way again. And so she started to turn things around in the area of her show. You know what? She began to pull the reins in that area. No matter what may be popular, it may be desirable, that may be the thing that people wanted to watch at that time, she was willing to go against the grain and said, you know what? I'm going to learn from this situation and I'm going to do better. And she did whatever made her feel better. And that's when she started to add value to her show and bring on different programs that added value to others. And so that is also the same thing for you guys. Learn from your failures. Learn from your mistakes. Yes, some of you guys may have gotten student loans and you may not be necessarily using that degree. And maybe you co-signed a loan or a vehicle or something like that for someone else and you really, really feel bad about it. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your failures. What can you take from that situation and say, you know what? I'm going to use this situation to become better and to do better.
The sixth lesson is sometimes you have to sever ties. For Oprah, it was early in her career. She was doing well and she was gaining steam and her show was becoming popular and popular and popular. And she made the bold decision to leave the network that she was on. She just never felt comfortable there. She never felt welcome. She never felt wanted. And although her show was in a great place and it was going higher, she made the bold decision to sever ties with that network and go to a different one. Another example, like I mentioned earlier, she was at another pinnacle in her career and she decided to sever ties with a friend who was also her producer and replaced her with another one. And that made her show even more popular.
Yeah, and I believe that this friend was also the one that introduced her to that initial job that she landed, right?
They
so
had
wow,
a long
imagine that tough
history
Woo!
together.
That was a tough decision.
But she knew that's what she had to do to get to the place that she needed to get to. So look at your situation. Are there some people in your life that are holding you back? They're so negative and they're so against everything that you're trying to do positively with your finances that you can't make any traction. Not only that, are there some habits that you need to sever? Are there some old ways of thinking that you need to get away from? Whatever you need to cut out of your life, sever those ties immediately so that you can start to win with your finances.
That's right. And the 7 money lesson that we all can learn from Oprah is to be a giver. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car,
you get a car. We all get a car.
Yeah, you know, when you think about Oprah, you think about really, I mean, she also gives a lot. You know, yes, she gave a lot, you know, on the show to a lot of the audience members and things like that, but she also gives a lot in other areas outside of television. You know, Oprah has a lot of different causes and things like that that she gives. She is a giver, you know, and that's something that we can all learn. It's so important that even while you're on this journey of trying to get out of debt and also trying to build wealth, that you don't hold your hand so tightly closed that you won't be able to get anything in or give anything out to others. Be a giver, okay? The Bible says that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And so we find pure joy in being able to find ways that we can give. Now, giving may not necessarily always mean monetary. It may also mean give of your time. You know, so can you go and volunteer at a shelter or volunteer at a food pantry or go and spend some time with elderly people, you know, in senior living assistant homes and things like that. So find times where you can be able to give and be a blessing to others.
Well, guys, those are the 7 money lessons that you can learn from Oprah Winfrey. Now it's time to apply.
That's right.
Remember, the only way that this knowledge can be powerful is if you apply it. So take these lessons and apply them to your life so that you can get to a place of greatness, a place of higher achievement with your personal finances. Where you are today may not be where you want to be.
That's right.
But if you take these lessons and you begin to walk it out, you will get there much sooner.
That's right, guys. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below letting us know, out of the 7 lessons that you just learned today, what are some of the areas that you can become more stronger in, all right? We want to be able to help each other. Don't forget, check us out over at our website at hisandhermoney.com and meet us back here next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where you will see the both of us share with you.
And don't forget, we created a free ebook to help you on your journey to financial freedom. It's called The 8 Essential Steps to Getting Out of Debt. And it's yours totally free by going to hisandhermoney.com/8 steps. Well, guys, that's it for this week. It's been great. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.